here today at the UK200 Marketing Forum, being held in the very lovely boardroom at Robson Laidler in Newcastle upon Tyne. I'm joined today by Gemma from Robson Laidler. We have
Charlotte from Armstrong Watson and Carol from Armstrong Watson.
And we're also joined by
Ian from Smales Goldie.
And Lois from Smales Goldie.
And
Sarah from Anderson Barrowcliff.
And
Emma from Bain Stewart.
Thank you. So one of the topics we have on our agenda today is events, and the reason it's on the agenda is I think some of us over the last year, 2 years, have found it more and more difficult to attract delegates to attend our events, find topics that are interesting, find new ways of promoting events. So we thought we'd have a chat around that subject and come up with some ideas which we're happy to share with the rest of the UK200 Group members. So I'm going to start off by talking to Gemma from Robson Laidler. And Gemma, I think you've tried to run a few events over the last 12 months, so let's hear your experiences of those.
Yeah, so we've tried to run about 3 or 4 different events, all different topics. We've tried the usual tactics of promotion, so a MailChimp invite followed by a personal email, followed by social media. And we're finding, particularly over the past 12 months, a decline in the number of people actually wanting to come to our events, i.e. bums on seats. I'm wondering whether this is just a sign of the times, or are people more interested in just sitting at the comfort of their computer and watching a webinar or indeed a podcast. We've tried different tactics to make them work, so changing the time of day, changing the venue, trying to give away freebies, none of which seems to be working, so I'm thinking it is just a sign of the times, but I'd be interested to see what other people think and how they get their events to work. Okay, so from around the table today, who has run what they consider to be a really successful event in the last 12 months where we've had a good turnout and good feedback?
Yeah, we did a very large event which was on just general accounting updates. We did it towards the back end of 2018 and run it with about 4 of our staff members putting together main changes, and we aimed it specifically at financial accounting professionals, so either alumni of the firm or finance directors, financial controllers, who also viewed the event as a CPD opportunity. So that attracted about 85 people. We did it on a breakfast basis. We did do Eventbrite, but we also did personal invitations, as in from partner email boxes, and we found that was the best way of promoting the event to the wider world. And we certainly tapped in quite a lot to our alumni to get them along, and that seemed to work really well.
So from your point of view, that personal contact has made a big difference to getting people into events. We're not just relying on, a blanket e-shot.
Absolutely. We find that if we do an e-shot, we'll get a certain response. Following that up, as Gemma said a little bit earlier, with personal emails, all of a sudden starts to hit more people's boxes. Because let's be honest, some of the e-shots do end up in junk mail boxes.
Okay. So, again, from around the table, what sort of other topics have you found have worked for you over the last 12 months particularly?
We found that some of the things around sort of future-proofing your business have worked quite well. We did a specialist farming event in January with some partners that went down exceptionally well, which is all about future-proof farming. We've also done one at the start of the summer, which was, we had a guest speaker who was a futurologist, which is something totally different. Again though, we took the tact of approaching clients and prospects that we wanted to be there. I think sometimes people don't necessarily bear that in mind. The reason we're having these events is to get certain individuals in a room together, and the best way to do it is to actually contact them personally and invite them along, and that's the events that we've found we've had the most success with, where partners, directors, relationship managers are engaged and they actually do want certain individuals there.
Okay. I'm just going to turn to Sarah from Anderson Barracliff at this point. Now, you're obviously new to marketing, yeah? So just a question. If you receive an invite to an event, what is it that makes you want to go to that event? You'd actually give up time out of a busy day, yeah, to go to that?
Yeah, me personally, it would be something that I would find interesting myself. So obviously if I found it interesting and make people think this might be available to go to, and then obviously going, taking my aspect of it and then putting it out to other people.
Yeah. So for you, it's got to be something that's highly pertinent to the job that you're doing, or the tasks that you've been given to do.
Yeah, because obviously then if you find it interesting, then you might find other people might find it interesting.
Yeah, okay. So going forward into sort of 2020, do you think there are topics around events that are real game changers, that you think they're the must go to events for business owners? Have you got anything kind of lined up at the moment that you think will hit that particular mark?
The VAT reverse charge for construction industries, certainly an event that we're going to be running in the new year. Also IR35 changes, and as you've said, I think the way that to get these to work in future is by thinking a list of game-changing topics really that people are going to be highly interested in. It's going to affect them personally, affect their business, and it seems to be the key is the topic, the subject area.
What do people think about experience events? Do you do a lot of corporate hospitality or events that are more social? Do you find you get more people turning up to those rather than to a formal presentation?
I think you've got to have a mixture. I think it depends on who you want to get into the room, but I think if you're always holding an event where you're just talking at somebody, people they just get event fatigue. So we tend to mix it up a bit and do different kinds of events. That we might do a round table event, which is just a small number of people having dinner together that are chatting about subjects that's, with like-minded individuals. Or we might do a bigger event, as I say, getting a guest speaker in, or wine tasting, or different. It's just a case of finding the right mix for the right clients and prospects.
Yeah. What about at Smells Goldie? Do you do corporate hospitality events for your client base or contacts?
We do provide corporate hospitality either at the football or at the golf events, etc. But we do tend to keep the two fairly separate. Obviously, we always offer. A lot of our events tend to be either late afternoon or first thing in the morning to avoid the busy working day, and we tend to get, that tends to work getting more people there. So the hospitality extends to a baked sandwich or whatever we're offering at the end of the day. So not specifically. Just going back on your question about things for 2020, we've been thinking a lot about uncertainty. Obviously there's a massive amount of political and therefore economic uncertainty in the UK at the moment. So specifically for our agricultural clients, we're looking at a publication which we may well turn into a series of events around the whole topic of uncertainty and the impact of that uncertainty on their particular sector, and that might be something that will roll out in other sectors as well when the picture becomes a little clearer.
Okay. Emma Baines-Jewett, do you do any hospitality? I know you've mentioned networking is something that you're keener to do, I think.
Yeah, we don't tend to do sort of what I call structured events as per the other companies that are here today. But we do. We have been involved with sort of hospitality packages in the past. We had sponsorship at Middlesbrough Football Club, where we hosted clients for home matches, and we have done some hospitality with a local rugby club in the past as well. But the way we sort of tend to do things now is we concentrate more on the networking side of things. So our directors spend a bit of time going out to business briefings or sort of other sort of business networking events, and we've also sort of perhaps try and piggyback other events. So we've done joint events with solicitors or banks as well in the past and had perhaps a guest speaking slot, and that's another way to network or to sort of like get involved with events but without actually having the sort of like the time constraints of sort of hosting.
That's an interesting point actually about becoming a guest speaker, particularly if you've got niche sectors that you specialise in. So do any of you sort of pitch at professional bodies to get speakers involved in their events, or piggyback on somebody else's event to save you the hassle of running your own?
Yeah, we've had one of the partners speak at local construction industry events on the changes coming into that sector, albeit they've been delayed for this 12-month period. So we've done 2 events on that now, and there are some others planned. So yeah, certainly we'll put anybody up as an expert either on the radio or whatever. We did quite a lot on the MTD changes. So yeah, definitely we want our people out there and visible.
Okay. Right, well that brings us to the end of our podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it and found something useful on there. Details in the editor's notes will be on the Anchor channel, and thank you to our guests.